We cut across to more breaking news coming in. As many as 47 security personnel were killed and more than 30 others were injured in the Baloch Liberation Army's Fidain unit. In a statement that BLA spokesperson Jian Baloch had said that the attack took place in the Behman area, which is located some 8 kilometers from Turbat city, at around 5:45 p.m. He said that the target was a convoy of 13 vehicles, including 5 buses and 7 military vehicles heading from Karachi to the Frontier Corps headquarters in Turbat. Let me cut across to Abhishek Kapoor, Senior Executive Editor, as we stay with those pictures. Abhishek, what had happened in Turbat? And also take us through the details of the claims made by the Baloch Liberation Army.
Well, you see, this is part of an ongoing battle between the Baloch insurgents, and of course the Pakistani state. The Balochis believe that Pakistani state is a rentier state. It's a scavenging state. It's a state which is taking up the Baloch resources and siphoning them off to essentially Punjab. And it's been a long-standing insurgency. We have seen almost the last 6 months of military confrontation from both the sides. And in this latest suicide bombing in Turbat, a Pakistani convoy was targeted, and reports suggest that 47 of Pakistani soldiers have perished in this attack. This comes days after the Pakistani Taliban targeted military outpost in South Waziristan in the neighboring Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, and there the Pakistani army lost 16 of its soldiers, following which it carried out airstrikes deep inside Afghanistan. So essentially twin insurgencies there along the western parts of Pakistan, bordering Afghanistan and Iran. Up north it is of course the Pashtun insurgency led by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, and in Balochistan there is the Baloch Liberation Army leading its war against Pakistan. So I think this is really building up, and we have not heard the last of it. In the case of Balochistan, there is a clear targeting of the China-Pakistan nexus also, because of which Chinese have slowed down all their investments in the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Remember, just 2 months back there was a similar attack right there inside Gwadar port, and then also, though of course it was repulsed by the Pakistani forces, the fact remains that it's an insurgency hit province now, and the Pakistanis are really struggling to keep the writ of the state running in the province. And in fact, like the standoff panning out between Taliban government in Kabul and Islamabad on the issue of Pakistani Taliban in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Similarly, in the case of the Baloch insurgency, we had a standoff panning out between Pakistan and Iran. In fact, an airstrike was carried out by the Pakistanis on the Iranian side of the border also. And this is a clear case of escalation now, because if Pakistani army wants to continue the facade of being the sole arbiter of who really controls the levers of power, then obviously they will have to be seen as doing something about it. So like they carried out those airstrikes strongly protested by Afghanistan, so perhaps they might retaliate in this case. Of course, these are their own people, so how they were going to retaliate with airstrikes would be interesting to see. But remember, today only India has come out with a statement saying that you cannot be targeting civilians and putting the onus on neighbors like Pakistan does every time it faces terror, which it has itself to blame for. So I think this Turbat attack is the latest in the ongoing insurgency, and between Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan, we have not heard the last of these kind of attacks on the Pakistani military, on the Pakistani state in general, and Pakistani defense forces in particular.
In fact, Abhishek, the Baloch army has taken pride in this mission. They have lauded their intelligence. They've also spoken about the increasing torture against innocent Balochis and how so many have been forced to disappear. A full-fledged statement that has been released by the BLA.
Well, yes. So the disappearances is a huge issue there in Pakistan, and it is not limited to Balochistan. In fact, the Pakistani deep state is known to carry out disappearances or abductions, and then people just simply vanish for a time or forever. In the case of Balochistan, led by the Buktis and the Maris, this insurgency has seen so many of their leaders just vanish, and we have in Muharram Baloch a leader who has shaped up over the last year and a half, who has really become the face of the Baloch insurgency, because her own brother has been missing for almost 2 years now, and in fact that was the trigger for the latest round of spike in Baloch insurgency in much of Balochistan. In fact, right up to Karachi, where Chinese assets have been targeted, right up to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where Chinese assets have been targeted, because the China-Pakistan economic corridor is essentially seen as an exploitative mechanism by the Baloches and the Pashtuns.
Abhishek, many thanks for getting us those latest details. We'll keep coming back to you for further updates. For the moment, we have to slip into a very short commercial break. All right, not too sure if we will slip into a break right now, given the details that continue to come on this story. In fact, we just took you through the details of the statement that have been made by the Baloch Liberation Army. While they have taken pride in this mission, they have also lauded their intelligence, saying that this attack is a clear message that the land of Balochistan will never be safe for the occupying state. I'm also being told Mr. Alok Bansal is with us on the phone line. Mr. Bansal, what do you make of this attack on the Pak army, given how they are cornered, not just by the Balochis, but also how Afghanistan has retaliated? India has also come down heavily as far as Pakistan carrying out those atrocities against Afghanistan is concerned.